Ladies and gentlemen, is this mic on or what? I said, is the mic on or what? This is Wrestling Empire 1 2, and I have your WWE NXT Standing Deliver 2022 prediction right here. Okay, before we get into it, I just want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for joining in. We have a lot to go over before we have our predictions on WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night 2 in Dallas, Texas. Now, it looks like Standing Delivery will be live earlier today, the same day as WrestleMania Night 1, but that is alright. We're going to get these predictions in, and we're going to keep grinding. So, let's not hold up too much time. Okay, so WWE NXT 2.0 opens WrestleMania weekend on Saturday morning with Standing Delivery 2022, which is set to start with a pre-show earlier in the day. All titles will be up for grabs as over 20 of the brand's best and brightest names battle it out to carve their names in the history books and to have their own version of a WrestleMania moment. This is turning out to be a quote unquote biggest show of the year for NXT 2.0. So we can expect everyone to give it their all. But who should we all expect to see walk out their respective WrestleMania matches victorious? So let's just run down this match card and toss out some of the picks. Let's toss out some of the picks who will win at NXT Standing Delivery. First off, we have the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship kickoff match. We have Gigi. Well, first off, before we get into it, I really want to say the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Champion Classic was kind of pointless this year. It took forever to get started as WWE forgot there was no tag team existed on the roster. People was randomly thrown together with a good enough attitude, and the whole thing became pointless by the end. Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray won the tournament by beating Wendy Shu and Dakota Kai, but they would insert into the NXT Women's Championship picture instead. Later then, Dakota Kai went out to Tasha Trash, and she was aided by her former friend turned rivalry, Raku Gazella. Now at the same time, I don't have a problem with this as I'm a huge friend of Dakota Kai, but at the same time, I do have a problem with this because they kind of reunited and was immediately granted a shot at the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. I mean, for me, it's always been about storyline. Wendy Chu has now been sidelined, and fans were clearly supposed to just be happy the friends are back together. This match could go either way. Dakota Kai and Gazella didn't get a proper run with the titles the first time, so this may be WWE's attempt to try it again. However, both are more than ready for the main roster. So if there's any plans to bring them to Raw or SmackDown soon, then I believe they shouldn't win the belt. But I'm not upset. I mean, I'm kind of rooting for Dakota Kai to actually win a championship before she moves to SmackDown or Raw, because we don't know if she's going to win a championship that fast. So I'll just rather have her try this championship ring out one more time, then move to the main roster. But there's no teams on that brand. Now, as far as Tasha Attraction, GG and JC, I feel like they could keep their championships, but like, I won't say they kind of green, but they kind of still learning. But honestly, Mandy Rose can get them over. I really want to say Dakota Kai and Raku Gazella. I really want for them to win just so Dakota Kai can get another tag team championship reign. But at the end of the day, I still feel like this will be a filler match. So I'm going to say Tasha Trasham will retain. Man, do we have a lot to go over. Hey, bear with me, guys. Bear with me. We got the NXT North American Championship ladder match. The ladder matches are typically a ton of fun, especially in the NXT environment. While NXT 2.0 isn't the same as the black and gold area, there are still 5 talented superstars vying for the North American Championship on the show. Gracie Waller, Santos Escobar, Solo Sikoa can be all written off as winners, though as none of them has momentum on their side to justify walking out as champion. This is down either to Carmelo Hayes retaining or Carmelo Grimes winning the belt to make good on his promise to his late father becoming a champion. Carmelo Hayes, in my opinion, has been treated well so far, so it's hard to see him actually losing the title. He's been positioned as a standout talent since his debut last June. Clearly, WWE sees big things in his future. So with that in mind, I'm going to say he will. I'm going to say it seems a safe bet to retain, because even though it's going to be a banger match, I got my boy Carmelo Hayes retaining the North American NXT champion for this ladder match. We have Tommaso Ciampa versus Tony D'Angelo. Now, to be honest, it seems like Tommaso Ciampa time in NXT appears to be coming off to an end. Whether that means he's leaving WWE entirely or going to Raw or SmackDown remains to be seen. But he's determined to make Stand Delivery a suitable ending. Tony D'Angelo is seeking the glory of sending him off with a defeat. Now, to be honest, I really wasn't interested in this feud, but I see either one of them picking off the win to give Tony D'Angelo a big push, or Tommaso Ciampa has a last win in his final match. So now, my favorite match of one of my favorite matches of the night, the NXT Tag Team Champions Triple Threat match. Now, I do want to say, after the Creed brothers won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic to earn their shot at the tag team titles, MSK was added into the mix via an angle in which Julius and Brutus, which is the Creed brothers, who I think are still very green and should not win the NXT Tag Team Champions. But they was attacked by a known person. Most likely WWE put Nash, Carter, and Wes Lee in this so they can be the true baby faces, which will help offset how both the Creed brothers and Imperium are healed, rather than turning the Creed brothers babyface to ensure they get cheered. Bringing in MSK solves that problem, and also get Imperium an opportunity to lose the titles without being pinned, which hopefully is not the answer. Because Imperium, they the best tag teams on NXT. There's no one that's really out there better. We seen MSK with the tag team champions really didn't do much for them. It didn't do much for the brand, because they got the championship so fast in their first run. So I feel like they shouldn't have won those belts at all. The Grizz young veterans, who I think is underrated and should have been on this card, should have won that tournament and won the tag team champions, but they gave it to MSK for that pop. Nobody knew who MSK was and what MSK stands for. So that was unfortunately on their part. But who I have winning this match is Imperium. If they do give it to the Creed brothers or MSK, I'm really not wishing for the Creed brothers to win, but if they do win, then the Grizz young veterans gotta take those belts off of them, because The Grizz Young Veterans got to beat Creed Brothers if they win these titles. I do not want the Creed Brothers to win. My prediction will always be in premium, unless they go into the main roster. But that is my prediction for this match. We got Gunter, which is Walter versus Wwe Nxt. Now we know this is going to be, a big match. We know chest is getting slapped. We know people getting body slammed or what so what. Now Walter was too big of a deal in NXT UK to come over to NXT 2.0 and start losing left and right. He already had a few moments where he looked the weakest, so it's time to get him back on track. Defeating Wwe Nxt isn't going to restore him to the level of unstoppable juggernaut holding NXT UK champion for a working title reign, but it's actually a start. But lose tonight would do major harm, so that has to be avoided. Wwe Nxt can take a loss and bounce back or even move to Raw or SmackDown because, let's be honest, he is way past his time in NXT, and going to Raw or SmackDown, he's ready for it. He got the look, he got the name, he got the moveset, he got the present, he got everything, and that screams main event. He got that screams main event bond. So I see Gunter winning this. Because, like I said, Gunter, he can't lose and look intimidated without WWE rehabbing him, which is more effort than what it is worth just to have Wwe Nxt score a random meaningless victory. A win over Nxt will also help Gunter become a top contender to the NXT Championship, especially if it comes back to a babyface such as Braun Breaker. So my prediction will be Gunter wins and be a dominant force he was in NXT UK. Because if he loses, it's going to look bad on WWE part, and it's going to look bad for Gunter. Okay, we got the NXT's Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way. Now, this was just supposed to be only Mandy Rose versus Corey J. But like I said in the NXT Women's Championship Tag Team, that the Dusty Rose is pointless, and they added Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai in the Fatal 4-Way. Not that I actually do have a problem with it, because like I said, made the Women's Tag Team Dusty Rose tournament pointless because they know they didn't have no teams. But they found the loophole to turn a Dusty Cup winning. They found a loophole to turn a Dusty Cup win into becoming contenders for Mandy Rose's NXT's Women's Championship alongside Corey J. This made it happen because WWE realized Rose versus J has already happened, and it needed more star power. That I don't blame, because we did see Corey J versus Mandy Rose. It could be that there isn't enough faith in those two. Could have had a great match on their own. So the veterans added as, a backup plan. But Shirai and Ray likely wasn't added to factor into the has had her time as NXT Women's Champion, which I'm talking about Io Shirai. She really needs to go to the NXT. She needs to go to the main roster because she's been in NXT too long, and she was already the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion into wrestling. The better story is to tell for Jade to win and continue the youth movement of NXT 2.0. Otherwise, why is she even fighting for the title again after having failed numerous times before, when WWE could have built someone else to fight Rose? You know what I'm saying? So, if Corey J doesn't win, then what was the point of this whole feud? So, I want to say she isn't ready, but NXT 2.0 is for the youth, and they need Corey J to win. I mean, she could lose this match, but how is she going to bat that back? How is she going to bat that loss up and to get another championship shot against Mandy Rose? I mean, what's next for Mandy Rose? Now, we can have Corey J win this championship and be the new NXT Women's Champion, and have Mandy Rose come back and fight her way back up. just to have another rivalry with these two, just to see if they can handle it on their own after Io Shirai and Kay Lee Ray might be going to the main roster. So I got Cora Jade winning it just for my prediction. And now the main event for NXT 2.0 Standard Delivery. We have the NXT Championship. Braun Baker as the challenger will be facing a champion, my favorite superstar of all time, one of the greatest of superstars of all time, Dolph freaking Ziggler. This is my boy. Please put some respect on Dolph Ziggler. Please put some respect on Dolph Ziggler. He is a former World Heavyweight Champion. He is a United States Champion, a Raw's Tag Team Champion, a SmackDown Tag Team Champion, the United States Champion, the Intercontinental Champion. And he was a Money in the Bank winner as well. Was the sole survivor of Survivor Series against the Authority. And now he is currently the NXT champion. Now, while there is a slight chance that Braun Breaker could lose the NXT championship just so he can move up to the main roster, as there was rumors that they are ready for Braun Breaker and he could be moving up to Raw or SmackDown. But there is a chance, strongly likelihood, this was a plan for WWE to check a few other things off the list. Putting the belt on Dolph Ziggler was shocking as for me, because I was hyped. I was a fanboy. I was screaming. I was yelling because Dolph Ziggler really earned it. I was rooting for him because I didn't really see much in Braun Breaker just yet. But he's putting it out there for me to understand who he is and show why his name is Braun Breaker. Now, it generated buzz and interest in what would happen next. It also provided a reason for a notable main roster superstar to be a guest on NXT for a few weeks as a test run to see if that would improve the ratings. And the show-off has been in the company over a decade and always found himself utilized. It means he hasn't been used properly. But giving him this NXT championship allowed him to become relevant again, contribute me more in a more meaningful way than if it was just another contender from a Raw's Tag Team Champion. Now, him and Robert Roode could be doing so much more as solo individuals, but seeing them together gives them more TV time and what's so not. Now, I'm happy for Dolph Ziggler because this is another championship added to his resume. Whether it's on NXT, Raw, or SmackDown, it still counts. So don't be hating on Dolph Ziggler. But I don't know if they want to give Braun Breaker a main roster just yet, because they do need him on NXT 2.0. Now, as much as I'm a big fan of Dolph Ziggler, I do see Braun Breaker walking out of here as the NXT champion, but I won't be surprised if Dolph Ziggler retains as well, because let's not forget, he is the show-off, and he is one of the greatest wrestlers on WWE. He might just be one of the greatest wrestlers in the wrestling community, but there is my NXT 2.0 standard delivery predictions from Wrestling Empire 1-2. Now, before I get out of here, I just want to say thank you for those guys. I just want to thank you guys for those who tune in to see what I have to say about NXT Standing Delivery, who I think will win, who I think will lose, and most likely what will be happening on NXT Standing Delivery. Now, this is happening on the same day as WrestleMania Night 1. But today is Friday. We still got Friday Night SmackDown to watch over, so stay tuned for that, because I might just be covering it. But my favorite matches of the night so far will be, of course, Braun Breaker versus Dolph Ziggler. I'm interested in seeing the Triple Threat Tag Team matches, the Triple Threat Tag Team Men's Championship, just to see who will win it. And of course, I can't forget my boy Carmelo Hayes And LA Knight versus Gunter, whose name is Walter, but Gunter, I'm actually happy to see that. But that is my prediction for this for NXT Standing Delivery. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit that bell for post notification. Comment down below your predictions for NXT Standing Delivery, and I want to see what you guys have to say about this. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to stay tuned for my WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 predictions. Thank you guys again, and hopefully you have a good day, and I will see you until next time.